Welcome to Week 16 of the NFL Weekly Throwdown. Let's do this. Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm flying solo today. Vinny had this amazing excuse why he couldn't be here today. Week 16, coming off a horrible week, so maybe that's his excuse. But a drunk driver crashed into a telephone pole and took out the transformer in his neighborhood, if you can believe this, at noon on a weekday. Drunk driver at noon on a weekday smashes power outage for neighborhoods. I don't know. Seems like a likely story, but hey, welcome in, folks. We're going to cover all 16 games in week 16, a full slate. Full disclosure on our performance. We have had a great year. Week 15, not so great. Let's take a look at how we did last week, and this is the worst, baby. Down there in red, I don't even want to cover it for a long stretch of time here. 2-8 for me, 0-6 for Vinny. And as you can see, leading up to this, we'd had a great run here going. So we're still both in the positive. That's the positive news here. I'm 189 overall after all 15 weeks. About, I don't know, average of 10 or 12 a week. And Vinny came in about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he's been hitting at a nice pace. So we're both still up positive. That's the positive side. Last week, hopefully, is an anomaly as a loss, and we have 16 games to cover, like I said, so let's just get rocking. First matchup, the New Orleans Saints, 7-7, at the Rams, 7-7. All kinds of playoff implications going here. And I have this spread at 4.5 and 44.5 over under. And I say no bets on this game. This is like I said, both teams are playing for their playoff lives. New Orleans playing for the division, that crappy NFC South. The Rams looking like a wild card, a dangerous wild card, in my opinion, on Thursday Night Football here at home. Honestly, with the point spread, I would lean NOLA on the Saints. I'm not betting this, and I would lean under 44.5. I had this game coming out around 23-20. I mean, so just barely under, so that's why this is a no-bet game. Should be a good one, though. Good Thursday night game for once after some trash they've had showing us on Thursday night. It's been terrible. But this is a competitive, good game, and it's got NFC playoff picture written all over it. So, like I said, no bet in this first game here. Let's get on to the second game. We have Cincinnati Bengals, 8-6, heading into Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh has finally been exposed. They had this winning record all year, even though they're terrible. And to prove it to you, Vegas has Cincinnati favored by 2.5 on the road with Jake Browning at quarterback, who's starting to, he's playing. And that's a pretty good team around him there. So, man, it would just be fun to see Joe Burrow healthy right now with this team, because I think this team's good. And they looked good for a good stretch of a few weeks there before Burrow got hurt. And Browning's, I don't know, maybe they go on a cute little run here, but again, playoff implications all over the place here. Pittsburgh could get this one done. I will not bet this spread, which is, by the way, like I said, Bengals minus 2.5 on the road. Don't touch that. You can touch the over here, though. I like the over. Green light. I call a bet that, if you're new to the show, I call a bet that I like a lot, which is that my opinion differs from Vegas's by at least 5 points, 4 to 5 points minimum. I call that a green light, and this is the first green light of the week. The over here, I have this game more like 44, 45 points, so a full touchdown higher than Vegas. So for that reason, I like the over here, and I'm not touching the point spread. Let's keep moving here. We'll move fast since we're running solo. Buffalo Bills, 8-6, who's one of the hottest teams in the league, playing great. This is the Buffalo Bills we expected to see, but they, dicked around for the first half of the season, and now they're starting to look great. They just hammered a couple of good teams. They're heading into Los Angeles for the Chargers, who are 5-9, and the Chargers they're done. I mean, they really have nothing to play for. I mean, they finally removed the coach. Herbert's out. They got nothing to play for here. The spread, however, is 11. 10.5 I had it at, 37.5. I'm sorry, 42.5 on the over-under. I like the Chargers here to cover this, and the only reason it's not a high confidence bet, but I will say 10.5 or 11 points is too many points for any NFL game, let alone for a road team. And I know Buffalo's hot and they look great, but remember this about Buffalo. they're always in close games. They play down to their competition. I mean, with a few exceptions, but for the most part, in Josh Allen's career, he's involved in highly competitive games. It's a wild ride with Buffalo. It usually comes down to some heroic effort either on his side or against him. But, and I'm not saying this is going to be a close game. 11 point spread on the road for Buffalo. It's too many points. Give me the Chargers and give me the over 42.5 as well, because I think this game is going to be like, I've got it at 27-20 Buffalo, something like that. So 47. That's enough of a boost to hit this one. Play the Chargers in the over in this game. Next, let's go. We've got the 8-6 Indianapolis Colts, one of the better stories in the league. I mean, you got Steichen's got these boys playing, baby. They're fired up. And you're going into Atlanta, who is just, and we said this last week, Vinny and I, or at least I think this, and I'm pretty sure Vinny agreed. Atlanta Falcons, if you look at their pieces on offense and defense, really, their pieces individually look like they should be so much better than this. And I know Ritter sucks. All right. Desmond Ritter sucks. His backups suck. There's a big quarterback problem in Atlanta. I get it. But that team, I mean, there are teams out there with the amount of weapons that Atlanta has. They should be able to put a even below average quarterback out there and get a better team than 6-8. And Atlanta can't score right now. They're terrible. So for this game, I have I'm not betting this spread, which the Colts -1.5 on the road. That's how bad Atlanta is at home in their dome. They're freaking getting points against the Colts, who nobody really expected much out of. 8-6, surprising, good story. Like I said, over under is 43.5. I had it at 44.5 earlier, and with the 44.5, I have a green light bet on the under. 43.5 makes it a little more challenging, but I have this game at my analytics tool has this game at 19-19, so 38 points, a full 5.5 points lower than this spread. And like I said, I had it at 44.5 points. If you can get this thing around 44, hammer that under on this game. Do not touch the spread. I don't know what's going to happen here. I think this is going to be a field goal game. I keep waiting for Atlanta to explode. And in that crappy NFC South division, they had a chance to just back themselves into the playoffs. And I guess they're still mathematically alive, but I don't see it. I don't know who's going to win this game. I wouldn't bet the spread if my life depended on it. Take this freaking under and run with it. Next game, we have the team that everybody talked about a couple weeks ago, including myself, a team that I thought was very dangerous heading into the playoff run here. The 6-8 Packers, who were 6-6 with the easiest schedule in American history in front of them. And what they do, they go out and lost 2 games in a row to the Giants and Bears, I think. I can't remember who the game before that was, but they had the weakest schedule I've ever seen. And as a Lions fan, I'm sitting there going, wow, Green Bay could easily win out. And at that point, they were 6-6. I'm like, they could go 11-6 pretty easily because Jordan Love and the boys were really starting to hit their stride, I thought. I don't know. They're 6-8. They're pretty much done. I mean, it would take I think that maybe they are mathematically done, but as bad as, I guess there's probably a scenario where they could still make it. I'm sure the commenters will correct me on that if I'm wrong, but Carolina at Green Bay is going into Carolina, who's the worst team in the league. 2-12. Packers -4.5 on the road, over under 36.5. And I have this one at, same exact spreads. I'm not touching this spread because I think that's about right. Packers will win this game close. Give me the over. And I have this game at about 21-19. So, 40 points-ish. Medium confidence on the over here. And my couple of reasons for that is I really think that you're finally starting to see a little bit of life out of our guy Bryce Young in Carolina. A little bit of life. And Green Bay's defense sucks. They had their moments. I think they have big play capability, but they really don't. I mean, these two teams both give up they're mid-pack or worse on points against. I think that, this game could, the score could run up a lot higher than 36. Like I said, I have this more like 39 or 40 points. So medium confidence on the over here, and the spread, like I said, is about right. So stay away from this one as far as the spread. And both teams, by the way, I don't think there's much to play for here, so just stay away. Speaking of nothing to play for, let's move. We have reached the halfway point in the video. I need to take a drink. I'm talking too much. All right. Sorry about that. Jonathan Gannon's 3-11 Cardinals, who looked a little bit, I mean, we all knew they were terrible. We all knew they were bad, but they looked a little dangerous about, I don't know, 5 or 6 games into the season. Like they were bad, but they were the type of team that could score quickly with Dobbs. They're coming into the Bears, who have, just when you thought they were starting to, hit their stride, with Fields is finally looking good. Fields looks good. I have to admit that. I've been a Fields hater forever. At 5-9, though, Bears, again, they're done. Cardinals are done. Not much to play for here. This game is at the Bears at home -4.5, and the over-under is 44. And I'm just checking my numbers here. I have 4.5 and 44.5. So yeah, very close. I have this game as no bets. No bets on this game. I have this at 24-19 Chicago, which is a 5-point win. And I have that at 43. So yeah, 1 point off the over-under. So no bets on this game. And plus, I mean, this is a game that could go either way wildly, because again, there's nothing to play for here. Nobody really cares outside of the home, the home team fans here. And I guess Cardinals might have a couple fans out there. It's a bad franchise. They've been bad, worse than my Lions. I don't know, but just don't touch this game. There's nothing there for you. Let's move to the next game. We can kind of move past that one quickly. Let's see. I'm a little discombobulated, if that's a word, running this thing solo. Had all my notes prepared, usually bouncing things off Vinny or whoever the guest is, and that's how I prepared myself today. So I apologize if I'm all over the place a little bit. I thought I was going to have a partner to bounce things off of, but it didn't work out, man. Sometimes when this is a second type of quote unquote job, if you want to call it that, but this is not my main role in life here. So for the haters in the comments, F off. Trying my best. Doing my best. Love you anyway. Comment if you hate me. I still appreciate the comments. I still appreciate just people watching. So let's move. The New England Patriots, 3-11, who on the Trust the Profits channel in the network, many Patriots fans, which I am just tickled to death that they're so bad. It's so embarrassing. They're 3-11. Going into Denver, who just got hammered by my Lions, baby, and you gotta love that. My Lions just hammered them. And listen, -6.5. The Broncos, the over-under is 34. I'm looking at my notes here. I have this game at, are you ready for it? 22-18 Denver. So if you're going to lean, I guess New England. New England's going to cover that number. I don't know. Denver is still mathematically alive. And they had a cute run for like 3 weeks or something, but they looked so bad against the Lions. I watched every snap of that game up close and personal, and they were horrendous. Outmatched in every way on both sides of the ball. They had a nice run going. Maybe the Lions are just hitting their stride at the right time, but the Patriots, man, 6.5 points. Listen, I'm not proud of betting this game, but I will say this. Green light on the over in this game, baby. I got this at 22-18, 40 points. That's 6 full points higher than the over-under. If you want to bet this game, bet that. If you want to get cute, take the Patriots to cover, man. It's too many points. Denver's not the type of team to beat anybody bad. I don't even think they'll beat them by a touchdown. I think it's going to be more like 3 or 4 points. Next. All right. We've got Cleveland Browns, 9-5, baby. Look at the Browns going with Joey Flacco into Houston, 8-6, who was the darlings with CJ Stroud a little while ago. And I still think they're fine. I think the Houston's still in the race here, and I don't know what Stroud's status is. I don't like this team without him, put it that way. I think he's electric. I don't know. He's going to hit. He's going to have his rookie. He had a taste of the rookie thing going on before he got hurt, but Cleveland 9-5. Cleveland getting 2.5 points here. Interesting line. Makes you think that Vegas is always right. This game is going to be close like that. They have it at 43. And man, this is just one of those games. Give me the points in the Browns. I think the Browns are going to win this game. Browns are one of the better. They're running hot. And I believe in the Browns. I think Flacco, man, and if you would have told me that at the beginning of the year that Flacco was going to come in for somebody, I would have been really skeptical on that. But that's the right team for somebody like Flacco to come into because they don't need him to be a big game changer. They need a game manager. And I know that term's been tossed around a lot last couple of weeks, but Flacco is, man. He always has been. And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense either. I mean that as that's a maturity, a guy that the younger players on that team can respect him. And he's playing good, dude. I've watched a couple Browns games with him. He's playing pretty good. He's not elite. He's not going to go out there and, like Stroud or, I don't know, throw in your, he's not going to show anything of beauty out there. But he just goes out there and he gets it done. What do you call it? A lunch pail guy. He's a lunch pail guy. And he always has been. He won a Super Bowl. And he's mature and he's respected. And he's much better than some, scrub young guy who's out there run first mentality. And the Browns defense, this team is great, man. Like if Deshaun Watson was playing the way he should have played even before he got hurt because he wasn't, this team is good enough to be like, just outside of the Super Bowl looking in, or maybe even on the fringe of making a Super Bowl. That's how good the defense is. But yeah, I think in this game, give me the Browns with the points. Medium confidence, not super high on it, but I do like the Browns. I think they're rolling. I think they're finishing strong, and they're a little bit dangerous in the playoffs too with Flacco because he's the type of guy. He's going to manage a game and keep it close. The 10-4 Cowboys, who everybody's calling a fraud, and I'm going to stop just shy of fraud. I've always had my doubts on Dallas. I always do. I hate the franchise. I hate Jerry Jones. I've hated them since Jimmy Johnson and the Troy Aikman era. I hate all of them. I hate the Cowboys. But I think they're better. I don't think they're a complete fraud. And most of the people that are saying that they're a complete fraud are Eagles fans, and I think they're the real fraud. And Dallas is pretty good, just maybe not elite. And there's only a couple of elite teams, and we'll get to that in a bit. But they're going into Miami. They're both 10-4. It's a great game. Miami at home, who we all know is a much better team at home. What do we have here? We have I have this at -1.5. The Fish -1.5 and 51.5. And on this screen here, you see 1 and 51, which is, close enough. And I'm going to call no bets on this game. Just enjoy this game because, you saw, even with Tyreek out last week, I won't call Tua elite, but Tua is good, really good. And that offense is elite. Defense is up and down, but the Fish at home are going to play this game tough. And I think this game is too close to call. It could go either way to me. I think it's going to be within a field goal. And that 51-point spread, my numbers have this 27-23 or so in favor of the Fish, but not enough confidence. I'm staying off this game completely. This is a game, like I say, just go and enjoy the game. Watch the game. Have fun, but don't bet it. It's too close. There are better games to bet this week. Here we go, folks. My Detroit Lions, 10-4, who just put a 42-17 or whatever that score was, beat down on old weird Russell in the Denver Broncos, which I enjoyed it. I was screaming. When you got two of the best offensive rookies in the last few years, man, Jahmyr Gibbs is elite. Sam Laporta is elite. And then you put that in with David Montgomery, who's already good. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's also elite. This is a dangerous team, even with Jared Goff. There's a lot of talk here in Detroit that Goff's not the right guy, and maybe he isn't, but he's got enough weapons. Our defense has been up and down, but you saw them against Denver. If you saw that game, they're getting healthy, and they're finally playing right. and they're going into Minnesota, who's another team who's just been Jekyll and Hyde. And I'll tell you, if you're not familiar with the NFC North, this is going to be a very interesting matchup, probably a very close game, because just like the Lions, who just got beat up pretty bad by the Bears, our division plays, I think, even harder than most divisions play when they face each other. And even when the Lions were a complete shit bag of a team, most of my life, they would step up and play against the Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers elite Green Bay teams, against Culpepper and Moss era Vikings. And they would play them hard and close, even when they were, far inferior. And I think the Lions are a much better team than the Vikings, but my numbers, I'm not betting this game. I'm going to tell you it's flat out. My numbers say that Minnesota with the points is a good bet, and the under is a good bet, which I'm shocked because the Lions are just rolling right now on offense. So I'm going against my own tool. I'm not betting against my own tool. I'm just not betting because I can veto. If I got one power thing I can pull, one power move, it is that I can veto my home team because I don't want to bet it. I don't want to have money interest. I'm already too invested in 40 years plus of Lion fandom of misery. I want to watch and root for the team to win without monetary attachments. I can bet the other games. But if you like it, I do lean Minnesota and under, which, in all honesty, if I was to bet this game with my heart, it would be the total opposite. I would take the Lions in the over, which probably tells me to, just stay away from this game as well. Let's keep moving. We're getting close, folks. I'm doing my best to go fast by myself. We've got the Washington Commanders 4-10, New York Jets 5-9, two of the more incredibly boring and uninteresting teams. Yeah, we already know the story on the Coug Hunter, Zach Wilson, Bobby Saleh. Let's not cover it again. I do want to take a second to say our guy from the Commanders, Sam Howell, I think he is the most underrated player in the league. That team's terrible. And that kid's out there running around, making plays happen. And I'm not saying he's elite or great. I'm just saying that kid has earned a chance for next year again, and hopefully the Commanders can put something around him. I know they got McLaurin. They got no running game. The offensive line is amongst the worst in the league. They suck. But I think Sam Howell's legit. I like watching him play. He's fun to watch, and he makes some amazing plays. If you're a Commanders fan and you watch every snap, maybe he makes bonehead plays too. I just don't see enough. But from what I've seen, I like him. So anyway, at the Coug Hunter, who I don't know, was it a concussion or whatever he went out with? But apparently, there's no final word on this. It's early in the week, so we don't know yet. So put in the comments if he's playing. I actually love the Jets -3 against the Commanders if the Coug Hunter goes, and it's amazing that I guess just basing it on the one game where he came back, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, he saved his career." People were talking shit in the comments in my last video because I usually crucify the Coug Hunter. But if Wilson plays, I like the Jets and the over. If he doesn't play, I'm just going to non-bet this game because I don't know what's going to happen. Whatever his name is that backs him up, I'm not even going to bring him up because he's so bad. Simeon or whatever. He's terrible. He's even worse than the Coug Hunter at his worst, which, the Jets are in bad shape. So if the Coug doesn't play, no bets here. And we're getting close to the end here. What are we doing now? We got Seattle Seahawks 7-7. Going into Tennessee in the Will Levis program, and Levis got hurt. I don't know what his deal is yet. I think he's going to play. It looked bad at first. I was watching that game. It looked like he was looked like it might have been a bad injury. So I was glad to see him eventually get up and walk because it looked like one of those, hold your breath and hope that the guy doesn't miss a full year type of injury. But in any case, Seattle 7-7 into Tennessee 5-9. Seahawks -2.5 on the road and 43. Let's see what I got here. I like the Titans at home here, 2.5. I just don't know that Drew Lock is. Yes, he got the win last night, Monday Night Football. But guess what, folks? I watched that game, and if you watched it, he did have a nice final drive. That isn't going to work against most teams. And I don't know. I don't believe in Drew Lock. I like Geno. honestly. I hope he can come back, but it sounds like it might be the end for Geno in Seattle. And I like Tennessee. I like Levis. Depending on this is another game where I don't know what to tell you because it could go. I mean, all the quarterback game is up in the air. If everybody plays as they should, I like the Titans plus 2.5, and I like the over 41.5. I've got this game more at about 23-22, so a slight over advantage. Actually 23-23 I have it, so 46. So I would tread lightly if you're going to bet this one. And yeah, give me the Titans. I don't think the Seahawks are going to beat anybody by, 3 on the road. I just don't believe in this team anymore. And at the beginning of the year, I was pretty high on them. Moving on, the 8-6 Jaguars, who have shipped it, baby. This is a team that 3 weeks ago we were talking about number 1 seed potential going into that Monday night or Thursday night game, whatever it was. Jacksonville's a mess, folks. Jacksonville's a mess, and Tampa laying the wood last week, baby. You love to see it. If you're a Baker guy, and I'm not a Baker guy, but I like this. I don't know what it is about Baker. I've always kind of rooted for that dude. I don't know why. I think it's because he's small and he's had so many doubters and haters. And I think the kid's got heart, if nothing else. Buccaneers -1 and 43. I can't tell you to bet the spread. I think the spread is absolutely accurate. Jacksonville's a way better team than Tampa. Tampa's, by the way, 7-7 playing for that NFC South with New Orleans and Atlanta. It's a shame one of those teams has to take up a playoff spot because, there's all 4 teams in the NFC North, for example, are better than them. Anyway, no bets on the spread. The over under 43. I'm going to say bet the over here. I have this game at 47 and a half points, something like that. I have this game at Tampa will win by 3. So for whatever you're doing, I think Vegas hit the spread pretty close, but I do like the over with medium confidence. And I think there's a mess in Jacksonville, folks. I thought this was a Super Bowl potential team at the beginning of the year, and it's just not. By the way, that was the last of the Christmas Eve games. Now we go to Christmas Day, where we have 3 games. Last 3 games here. The Las Vegas Raiders, 6-8. Love to see it. At the Kansas City Chiefs, who are struggling. Just struggling. And this spread is -10. KC -10 at home. And 41.5. I have it at 42 on the screen. I have it at 41.5. Live on my phone, but close enough. Here's what I have. Bet the Raiders. Take the Raiders, and that's a green light bet, folks. The Raiders are playing for Pierce, and they're playing for a lot of players' careers right now. The Chiefs, you already know who they are, and the Chiefs are going to play this game. It's going to be close. The Chiefs will win this game. I have it at 23-19, so like the over-under 42 is about right. The Chiefs are going to win, but they're not going to win by 10. The Raiders are playing for something. Antonio Pierce is playing for a job, and a lot of those players are playing for a career. O'Connell's coming off by far his best game. The Chiefs are just not, honestly, I don't even think they're playing that bad. Yes, they're bonehead plays by the wide receivers, and the wide receivers are historically bad. But I just don't think this team's as good as they have been. Obviously, with Mahomes and Kelsey and some of the other great players on defense that they have, they can win. The defense is good. They can win, and they can definitely make noise in the playoffs and even win a Super Bowl this year, but I don't think they're playing good enough. 10 points, always too many in the NFL. Give me the Raiders and the cover. Green light cover, baby. Going anti-Chiefs, and now we roll. The Giants, 5-9, into Philly, and what do we have here? Another 10.5. In fact, on my sheet, 11.5 point spread. And 43.5. I have this game. I have Philly winning by a touchdown. I have it at 25-18. That's what my analytics tool gives me. That tells me the G-men, the Giants, with Tommy DeVito, cute story, even with that douchebag agent on the sidelines trying to look like, Al Capone and shit. It looks ridiculous with his outfit. Looks stupid. Somebody punch that guy in the face on national TV, please. But with that said, the G-men will cover, baby. It's too big of a spread. The G-men they're playing it. This is another team. Dayball's not rolling over for number one pick. I just don't believe that. And, Philly is struggling. Philly is a 10-4 team. They're obviously going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're that good. I haven't thought they were good all year. I thought they were, even when they were 9-1, I was getting screamed at that I was underrating them because I had them in the power rankings down around 4 or 5 or something. And now I've got them at like 7, and I'm not even sure they belong that high. I mean, I think, teams like, there's several teams like the Lions and Buffalo that I feel like are better than Philly. But anyway, for this game, give me the Giants in a big way. Another green light bet on these big spreads, 2 biggest spreads. Philly's not going to beat anybody by 11.5. Let's keep it moving. Last game. And this is the 2 best teams in the NFL, bar none. This is the game you've been waiting for. And the only thing I'll say before I get too excited, this is the cream of the crop. The 2 best teams in the NFL, bar none. You can't even argue it. If you want to argue with that, I want to hear it. Put it in the comments. If you think there's a team better than these 2, this is the 2 best teams in the NFL. They happen to be the best in the NFC versus the best in the AFC. The 49ers minus 5.5 and the over under 46.5. I have it at 45.5. And I have 5.5. I stopped short of saying that this is going to be a classic matchup because I think the Niners might open this one up a little bit, but I think that 5.5 point spread is about right betting wise. I can't bet that spread. Give me the over, although I did have it at 45.5 in my notes when I said to bet this over. Let me see what I have the score at. I have the score at 27-22 for about 49 points. So medium confidence, take the over. These 2 teams are electric. Like I said, the best in the league. They both have good defenses, but they both have offenses that are even better than their defenses. This could be fireworks. And I think Baltimore's got a lot to prove because the Niners are, if you're watching these games and you have a brain, this team is, I think it's like the Niners, the Ravens, and then like 4 or 5 teams way down here. So I think the Niners are even a step above the Ravens, but I think the Ravens are that big of a step above everybody else. In any case, could the Ravens win this game? Sure. Why not? I doubt it. Not in San Francisco. If this game was at Baltimore, it would be super interesting. But it's a great game, great matchup, and you'll get to see, man, because if either one of these teams beats the other by, more than a touchdown or so, it could shake up everybody's thought process on who's elite and whatever. Because if San Francisco blows them out at home, I don't even know. Maybe the Niners start resting their starters for the playoffs because, somebody like McCaffrey with an injury history, Debo's got a little bit of a history there too. You want to go into the playoffs full strength. And if they blow this game up 12 and they go to 12-3, I don't know. I think they can at least take one of the 2 weeks off the last couple weeks of the year. That's it, folks. With the 16 games, I think I had something like 15 bets, which is the most I've had all year. Like these games at the end of the season here are, for some reason, I've got a lot more data in my analytics tool than I had at the beginning of the year, which you would think would promote less betting. Because I don't bet games. If my spread matches Vegas within a couple points, I don't bet them. It's only when my tool says something different than Vegas by like 3 or more points. So I'm surprised I had this many bets, but in a full slate like this, let's do it. I went 2-8 last week, which I don't want to talk about. We don't dwell on the negativity. I do have a winning record all year. Let's keep the winning record going. There are only 3 regular season weeks. This one, 2 more after it. Let's get the money. Peace.